Alright, guys, welcome to Critical Thinking and Practical Reasoning. Today's lecture will be on morality and conscience. We are doing this under the Unit 4, which says Human Behavior, Decision Making, and Reasoning. The aim of this session is to look at the common sense morality, assess the role of conscience in human actions, identify the actions that happen with people's interest, and also examine the role of happiness and its reasoning in human discourse. What is common sense morality? Common sense morality is the application of personal moral decisions during complex situations where no moral theories provide ready answers. We must note that common sense morality is agent relative. By this, the moral obligations are applied to the moral agents depending on the circumstance. However, here the individual must be seen to be directly involved in an action. Let's take this incident for an instance. Look at the thought experiment. Would you help save the life of your bitter divorced husband who has intentionally been keeping you away from your child's new life? This moral dilemma, which is brought up as a thought experiment, is to just exercise our reasoning on common sense morality, and we want to assess that is it right. What we are essentially looking at is that whether there is any readily answer to such a problem. There are cases where there are no ready answers to such problem, so you just use your common sense to try reason out the best decision to take as a moral agent, and that is where common sense morality is being applied. Now, some moral theories we may need to discuss, which actually indicate some of the ways we live, and these are actually consequentialist theories. They look at the end results rather. So, in the first one we look at is egoism. Egoism says a good action is one that promotes the interest of the person performing the action. So, any action that promotes the interest of the person it's an egoist motivated action. Any action that also promotes the interest of others at the expense of you, the one doing the action, is an altruist action. So, you see, a moral status, a moral status is one that promotes the interest of others and not the moral agents. Hedonism, it is the case where to be moral, all human actions must be geared towards increasing pleasure. And utilitarianism, under utilitarianism, all an action is said to be moral if it gives more pleasure than pain. So these are our moral theories. Conscience is defined as the inner conviction that something is good or bad, right or wrong, acceptable or unacceptable. Now, it actually is a move from within. There is this inner part of you, the inner conviction within you that tells you, oh, this thing I did at this point was good. Nah, did I act the right way? Maybe I could have done it otherwise. That inner conviction in you that helps you decide on whether something is good or bad is what we are calling conscience. And conscience operates on two principles. The principles are principle of freedom and principle of knowing the good. So, on the principle of freedom, conscience operates on humans who are free to act. So, you need to be free to act to have a conscience, right? Also, principle of knowing the good. Conscience here implies that we know what is good. So you have a conscience and you can feel that you have a conscience only when you know that this is good and that is bad. So you can differentiate between these two things. Morality and punishment. Now, normally when we break rules, people expect caution or sometimes punishment. For instance, we are told not to steal, and we do. There must be some form of punishment for that action. In morality, some scholars are often of the view that the conviction of our conscience is punishment. Therefore, when we feel guilty, sad, or etc., for acting immorally, it is equal to punishment. This is so because there is no prescribed punishment for those who act immorally unless that action is also illegal. Now, note this: people try to equate conscience with punishment. Now, the idea is that when people, it is believed that sometimes some things you do that the wrong thing you do when you know it's wrong, it's sometimes the guilt that you feel and the sadness and the worriedness you feel is what indicates the punishment you have as an equivalent to the wrong thing you done. And that's how come moral punishment is equated to what? Conscience. However, keeping in mind that not all punishment suffices for the wrongdoings of other people. This session, however, has enlightened students on morality and conscience. It has the key. It is the key to note that it is key to note that all punishments are equivalent to immoral acts. Not all punishments are equivalent to immoral acts. Also, some complex situations require self-assessed moral decisions. Thank you for your attention, and we'll meet another time. Thank you. Bye.